Hey guys, what is going on? We recently bought a new set of sheets and it's a king size set. The pillowcases on there are larger than the standard. So what I need to do is trim these down. Right here is a standard size and it's about 4 or 5 inches smaller than the king set. So what I need to do is just go ahead and trim off this excess here, and then I will sew a hem. Now, in the past, I've done this before, and I thought I'd take you guys along with me. It's a relatively simple thing to do. In the past, what I would do is I would cut them down first and then sew a hem, but then you have an open edge on the end. And so I thought, well, it's a smarter thing to do is probably to go ahead and sew the hem on first and then trim off any excess. So I just did a quick pencil line here. The pillowcase it has been turned inside out, and that way when you turn it right side, you won't see anything. So I do some adjustments on the machine, make sure I'm on a straight stitch, and I'll do a little bit of a reverse here. You do that so that you can lock in the threads, and pretty much from here on out is just staying on that pencil line. And you can put the pencil line right in the middle, you can put it on one side or the other of the presser foot, just wherever you want. And by following that, you'll have a relatively straight line. I am not a professional sewer by any stretch of the imagination, so I'll take whatever help I can get. I am pulling on the sides of each side of the material just to make sure that it doesn't bunch up, but I am not pushing any of the material through the walking foot kind of on the bottom. It sort of raises up and drags the material across. And it's a relatively fast job. It's relatively simple. And at the end, you'll see when we get to the end, I'll do the locking stitch again. I was going to speed this up, but then I thought, you know what, it doesn't take too long, so this will give you guys an idea of what it's like to do it in real time as far as sewing the thing. If I was a better sewer, I'd probably do it a little bit faster, but even kind of with my amateur stuff here, it goes relatively quick. And so here I'll reach up and hit the reverse, so it'll go back and then forward again, and that will make sure that the thread gets locked in so you don't have any unraveling. There's a little tab on the machine that you can pull it over and it'll cut the threads off for you. So your next step is to cut any excess threads off, and you'll see that there's kind of a looks like a darker spot on the thing with the threads, and that's where it went back and forth. So now all I need to do is just go ahead and trim off the excess. And it's a good idea, I found, to go ahead and keep that little extra thing. That way you can use that as a test piece if you're going to sew a similar type of material, or if you just want to make sure that your machine is running good, or you want to see how a certain pattern is going to do. What I'm using, and you'll see in the inset picture here, is I'm using pinking shears, and they have kind of the odd shaped teeth that are ground into them. And what that does is it keeps it from wanting to fray as much. If you were to use just a straight regular pair of scissors and cut it straight across, the fabric would have a little bit of a tendency to want to fray and maybe kind of unravel on the ends. It still can with the pinking shears, but this greatly reduces any fraying that you're going to get. And it does leave that sawtooth pattern. I'll show you guys a little bit closer up. We can get this thing to focus. And there that is. So we've got the finished product. The gray one is a store-bought one, and those are the others that I did there. Hope that helped.